As a label company, we see so many product label designs, so many logo stickers, and pretty much every other type of label. But so do you, even if you don't realize it. Those little design details on all the labels you're seeing are subconsciously influencing whether or not you're going to buy or not buy the products you're seeing. But if you're just getting started with designing labels, it can be kind of daunting to know what to include and how to graphically put together a label that really catches people's attention. But luckily, we have free label templates online for just about every industry. These give you a starting point so the heavy lifting in terms of design is already done. In this video, we're going to design a product label for coffee from scratch, right in Maestro Label Designer. We'll give you some labeling and design tips along the way, and at the end of the video, you can actually download this label as a pre-designed template and use it as a starting point for your products. So let's get started with the label design and take a look. Go to OnlineLabels.com, navigate to Design and Templates, and launch the program to open up where you can choose from pre-designed templates or from blank sizes. This is where you'll find the template that we're working on today, and all of the other templates that you can choose from. If you're designing from scratch, this is also where you can choose your size and shape, and you can just start from there. Since we're designing a coffee label, we'll use a simple sheet of 3x2 labels that match our product. But this shape, OL1028, it has some unique corners that'll make it stand out a little more than a standard rectangle. To start, you'll want to make your color work a little bit easier, and choose your background color first. When you do this, you can shape the palette of your text and all the other elements around it. Keeping a limited color palette is really important so your label isn't overstimulating. But using a plain white background without the right design elements, like if you just have simple black text with no graphics, can make a label look really amateurish and rushed. So it's best to choose a subtle color that fits your brand. For the coffee label, we're gonna go with this nice, kind of washed out brown color. We're gonna save the bolder colors for the central graphic and the text. Alright, next we're gonna add a lighter brown shape here to highlight the text and add some depth to the label. I'm also just gonna add some details to the shape to make it match the actual shape of the label and match the little cutout corners here. Arguably, the most important design element of the entire label is that central graphic or your logo. This is just the piece of artwork that'll probably be the first thing a customer or a buyer notices off the shelf or online. Try to highlight it by giving it higher saturation, higher contrast, or adding more negative space around it to emphasize it. Adding text is where it can get tricky because you need to maintain a strong visual balance and make sure you're not overwhelming people who are looking at your label and that everything is readable. You also might have important details that you need to stand out. The best way to avoid all that confusion is to start with your product title, which is usually the largest piece of text. Then you can add lines and other graphics to kind of block out space to include your other details rather than lumping them all in one spot. Obviously, what you'll need to include varies by industry, but for our coffee label, I'm just going to include some notes on ingredients and product size. As far as fonts go, it's definitely best to only use one or two so that you're not overwhelming anybody. Especially if you're using a smaller label, where more handwritten or decorative fonts could get lost in the mix. We used a nice sans serif font for this one, but then we used a handwritten accent on this date just to make it stand out a bit as a detail and give it kind of an organic feel. Once all of the elements of your design are actually in place, it becomes a matter of making slight adjustments until the balance is perfect and it's communicating your brand identity and product info exactly how you need. And then you'll have a basically finished coffee label. Then you can either print on blank sheets at home or order these custom printed. There's also a multi-design tool in Maestro Label Designer that lets you create different versions of your label and change colors for different flavors or different scents, and adjust any other elements you want for your look. This is also a great way to print multiple designs on one sheet. You also don't need to use this template for 3x2 labels. You can change the size right here at the top of the canvas by clicking Change, and then you can adjust this label to the exact size you need for your product's measurements. You can find this design template and all of our other pre-designed label templates, which we have for basically every industry, in the description below. Like we mentioned, you can order blank sheets to print on at home, or you can have us custom print your labels for you on rolls, stickers, or sheets. Thanks so much for watching, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll see you next time.